We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com.
Bill C., who I'm hoping is not the former president, Bill C. Sent us some pictures. Bill is making use of the audio equipment that was left by the previous owner of his house. Interesting. We previously recommended a Dayton audio distribution amplifier and multiple Chromecast audio units for his whole house audio system, and he says those are working great.
Nice.
Neato. All right. Now he wants to upgrade his theater with a new projector, AV receiver, and amplifier for his passive in-wall subwoofers. Passive in-wall subwoofers. Interesting. The theater room is 18 feet long, 22 feet wide, and 9 feet high. That's a nice size for a home theater. And he's sitting 13 feet from a 110-inch acoustically transparent screen. Here come the questions. Bill's primary viewing will be at night, and the room is completely dark. Really? Completely? Every photon is out? Completely. However, his kids will be watching cartoons during the day, and he'll probably use the system with the lights on sometimes too, as most of us normal humans do. So he's trying to decide between a, quote, light cannon projector like the Epson 3700 or an ultra black model like the Epson 5040UB. He does want to prioritize the nighttime viewing, so he's almost answering his question right there. And he'd like to be able to watch 4K. So will the 5040UB suffice during the day and for lights on viewing? I bet the simple answer there is yes.
Yes. It is actually quite a bright projector, not quite as bright as the 3700, but it can put out a lot of light. Right. It won't be in high dynamic range mode when you're putting out all of that light, because you actually just want all the light all the time, not only when there's the highlights. Right. So, but you put it into a standard mode that, it doesn't have to be the vivid mode, but maybe the living room mode or something like that.
Is there a fast way to switch that mode? So like when it's time for kids' cartoons in the daytime, he can just hit a button?
I'm not sure if it's one button, but I mean, it's at most it would be bring up the picture menu, select a different picture mode. So
or you can make a macro on a programmable remote.
It's not a difficult thing to switch between picture
that might
modes.
be nice for him. So if it's daytime, lights coming in, the kids want to watch super bright, crazy color cartoons, then he can just, boom, pop it over to that other
Put
setting.
It in sports mode or living room mode or whatever.
Yeah.
No, the 5040UB is plenty bright. And if you want to prioritize nighttime viewing and be able to watch 4K, then you got to go 5040UB.
I think
that's what you got to do.
He almost answered his own question. I think he's on the right track there. The existing speakers are in-wall Sonance speakers in a 5.2 configuration. He needs an AV receiver to handle the system, and he wants it to have good room correction, network connection and control, and the ability to pass 4K. Well, the good news is there are lots of those. What do we recommend? And there is a Denon recommendation coming your way right about now.
Yeah, because I mean, it seemed as though he wanted to keep the price somewhat reasonable, and he's running 5.2. Didn't mention that he wants to upgrade to 7.2.4 or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
He's using what's already there, so there's no reason to go insane. If you can get the Denon AVR-X3300W, it's $650 from Accessories for Less right now. So it's not insanity. That gets you Odyssey Multi-Q XT32.
There you go.
The highest level of Odyssey. So he said he wanted some good room correction. That's about the best room correction at that type of price point that is out there and available. Right. So that's there. Network connection.
Yeah. Got the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It has a very nice control app. You can also access it via its web interface from any web browser. You just plug in its IP address. That brings it to its web interface. So whether you want to use that or the app, you have that. It certainly will pass 4K. It's HDMI 2.0A with HDCP 2.2 on every single HDMI port on that unit.
Is the Zone 2 independent?
Not independent.
Okay, but it's got an HDMI out to a Zone 2. But you could just but it's whatever you're watching in Zone 1.
It might even be. I'm not 100%. I didn't look at that particular feature. But yeah, you can go up to 5.2.2 if you want to put a pair of speakers in your ceiling and go to 5.2.2 Atmos and DTSX. It can do that. That's where it tops out, 7 speakers maximum. But that could be done as well. So I think that's the one I would get for sure.
Seems perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there was It was an easy answer for that. Yeah. There's a recommendation. Boom. You'd be happy with that Denon. That's a good price for that Denon. His pair of in-wall subwoofers are Sonance Sub 10-250 Retros. They're passive with just speaker wire for connecting them. So what amplifier do we recommend to power them? I've often wondered, are there specific amps best for subwoofers?
So Sonance had an amplifier that they sold specifically for this. It's been discontinued now. There's a replacement one, but it has like way more features than you actually need, and it's kind of pricey. So I just wanted to look at the specs though for the one that's in the manual for these particular passive subs and go, okay, what kind of power were they throwing at them? Well, it was rated at 230 watts into 8 ohms or 370 watts into 4 ohms. Now that was with 1% total harmonic distortion, which is kind of high.
Actually a lot, yeah.
But for subwoofers, that's not a concern. But anyway, it's that type of power, around 250, 300 watts, that type of thing.
All right, yeah.
Which, perfectly reasonable 2-channel amplifier, so it was meant to power 2 subs. So I was like, all right, what's out there right now at a more affordable price that has those same type of ratings? So over at Parts Express, that's where I go for things like this. Crown has their XLS 1002. That's part of their DriveCore series. Very similar power ratings. That's 215 watts into 8 ohms to 350 watts into 4 ohms. I mean, essentially identical. That's about $300 over there at Parts Express rather than $900 for the Sonance amp. That's pretty decent. But Behringer, they also have their iNUKE 3000. You gotta love that name.
iNUKE. It's gonna be loud.
Even higher power rating is rated at 315 watts into 8 ohms, 680 watts into 4 ohms if you want it. It's fine to have more power than you need. Power is drawn, not pushed, so that's fine, and that's only $230.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty good. And I own some Behringer equipment. They do good work. So that's only $229. I guess I'd be leaning toward that, honestly.
Sure, So I mean, the Crown, rock solid. I would have no problem, feeling great about buying that one. The Behringer iNUKE. Tons of people use those, especially for their DIY passive subs. So yeah, I'd feel very comfortable using either of those. Definitely less expensive than the Sonance. So yeah.
Well, I'm just reading the specs. Man, into 2 ohms you get 1500 watts. It's the iNUKE Mushroom Cloud.
That's right.
It's kind of awesome. All right, so there's just some recommendations. All that makes sense to me.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.